Good evening, welcome to this evening's webinar. We'll begin with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, Beloved Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, Saints of all religions, we humbly bow at thy feet. O great masters, Divine Mother, help us to tune into thee, through cosmic vibration, through beautiful sound and music. Bring us home on the waves of inspiration, and deep devotion. Om. Shanti Shanti. Well, this evening the two monks who are left here in Pune, the others are all traveling, doing different things. We'll be sharing not just Swami Kriyanandaji's music, but Swamiji's and Master's principles on music. We'll do a little bit of readings from them, and just a few comments about what they taught, practiced, our own experiences with Bara and myself. And then we'll also do a lot of chanting and introduce the chants in the way that Master and Swamiji would often introduce them and encourage us to sing and to play. I'll begin with a reading from Autobiography of a Yogi. Yoganandaji writes, "The deeper aim of the early Rishi musicians was to blend the singer with the cosmic song, which can be heard through awakening of man's occult spinal centers. Indian music is a subjective, spiritual, and individualistic art, aiming not at symphonic brilliance, but at personal harmony with the oversoul. The Sanskrit word for musician is Bhagavatar, he who sings the praises of God. The Sankirtans, or musical gatherings, are an effective form of yoga, or spiritual discipline, necessitating deep concentration, intense absorption in the seed thought and sound. Because man himself is an expression of the creative word, sound has the most potent and immediate effect on him, offering a way to remembrance of his divine origin." Now, the first chant we'll sing is "O God Beautiful." This is a song written by Guru Nanak, which Yoganandaji translated into English. And there's a beautiful story in Autobiography of a Yogi, where he played this chant for 1 hour and 20 minutes at Carnegie Hall, which is the most famous music hall for concert performances in New York City. And this was in the 1920s, before, it was exactly 1920, before Americans were used to singing devotional music. And yet we had 1,000 or more people enraptured in this beautiful music, singing to God and experiencing divine states. And so as we chant tonight, try to tune in deeply the way that Yoganandaji taught these chants. He gave actually for each chant of his a specific sort of an antidote that the chant is to be played for. And for "O God Beautiful," he says, "Sing this chant to realize God as visible nature and as all the beautiful sentiments of man."
We will not be singing this time for 1 hour, this chant. But please, wherever you are, try to join us and sing with us, if it's allowed in your house, of course. And as the reading said, put your concentration into it. Yogananda used to say, sing with your soul, sing with your whole being, put everything in the chant, and it can become, again, as Yogananda said, a very deep spiritual practice.
At thy feet, O I do bow.
sing one more of Yogananda's chants now. I will sing thy name. And he said to sing this chant when you are seeking inspiration. And he recommended also that people sing this before giving lectures to attract that inspiration. So I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk all with thy name. And we'll say Om Guru also.
Thy
This next chant is one of Swami Kriyanandaji's chants. And last night at our satsang, someone came up to me and told me that this chant, they were hearing it in their mind all night long the previous night. All day and all night, even in sleep, they were hearing this chant. And this is what happens when we, as Yoganandaji put it, spiritualize a chant. Master said that all the chants in his cosmic chants, that he spiritualized them, meaning that he had a deep spiritual experience during the singing of that chant. But he also said that when you go deeply into a chant and have a deeply moving and joyful, devotional or blissful experience with that chant, that chant becomes powerful for you, and especially powerful. And this is why it's helpful to focus on those chants that have developed spiritual power, and also try to develop that power with other chants. But when you do have a deep experience with a particular chant, it's almost like a very close friend. Whenever you call on that chant and start singing it, the power of it comes back and really blesses you and helps you. The words to this one: you fill my heart with music, I dance through life with thee, I sing your song, and sorrow's gone, in joy I live ever free. Fill my heart with music, I dance through life with thee, I sing your song, and sorrow's gone, in joy I live ever free. Fill my heart with music, I dance through life with thee, I sing your song, and sorrow's gone, in joy I live ever free. This next chant is also by Swami Kriyanandaji. And as we chant with all these chants, they work with deep feeling, the feeling of the heart. And in the beginning we can chant more loudly, but then we want to interiorize that feeling more and more, and really even take it into deep meditation. I recommend sometimes for those who practice Kriya Yoga to, when you have a deep devotional experience of a chant, go with that feeling right into the practice of Kriya, and you will find that you also devotionalize and spiritualize even a technique like Kriya when it's imbued with the deepest devotional experience that you have. This chant by Swami Kriyanandaji: how shall I love thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe, just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. And then how shall I seek thee, how shall I serve thee, how shall I worship thee? How shall I love thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? How shall I love thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. How shall I seek the Let's meditate now for a few minutes, taking that chant deep inside, feeling that with every breath that we breathe, we are offering ourselves with deep devotion at the feet of the divine, at the spiritual line.
Now I'm going to share a little bit how this music, Swami's music, Master's music, has helped me and changed me in the spiritual path. And I want to just share a few stories and some of my thoughts, of course. But it's very interesting. When I came to India 6 years ago, a little more than 6 years ago, I came with my brother, as many may know, and I didn't really meditate. Although I consider myself spiritual, I didn't meditate, and I found it hard, of course. And I came to this new place, Ananda. I wasn't sure what was going on, but I remember very clearly the first time I heard a kirtan, I was sold. That was it for me. After that, there was no looking back. And I remember very well how much, even though I was not shy, and I will sing out loud, and I will sing the wrong words out loud, and nobody will tell me that I was singing all the wrong words. Instead of singing like night and day, I look for the night and day, I will sing might and brave, I look for the might and brave. Nobody will correct me, but I remember I used to enjoy it so much. And it's interesting because chanting for me has been a journey in a way of kind of ever new discovery, because, and I'll explain to you, and I'm sure many of you may have this problem with chanting, that the first time you hear a chant, or the first few times, they are so beautiful, they are so touching, you feel so moved. You love the chant and you wish people would sing it over and over. But then after a year or a few years of hearing the same chants over and over, it can happen that, you just go automatic. Somebody sings Lord of my heart, Lord of my, not really paying attention to it. And I certainly went through some of that in my life. Although I always used to love chanting, kirtan and all these things, I went through that period that I could not feel so much. And what I was saying, that is ever new discovery, because of course I realized something very obvious, but until we feel it, we don't really know, that certainly it wasn't the fault of the chant. Some people have been singing this chant for 45 years and still they feel so much joy out of them. So that tells you a lot about the power of the music. And I discovered, of course, it is just, obviously it's me, that I'm not doing it in the right way, that I am not doing it in the right spirit. And then once I started putting, again, the effort of trying to feel as it felt for the first time, all that love, all that devotion, the journey of chanting started going up and up again. And you realize that it is never ending, really, until we spiritualize the chants, as Master said, that we feel a deep, deep connection, and all the time we feel a deep connection. That means we are still not done with chanting, and still we can do more and more. And I love how in the Autobiography Yogananda says that chanting, that kirtan, it is an actual yoga practice. I'm paraphrasing a little bit there. Because so many people tend to ignore it. And it's true, some people are less music oriented than others, but still, nobody should ignore it. Yogananda, as we all know, used to say, is half the battle. No, half is a lot. So, even though, I know many people have that feeling that, they don't feel the devotion, they don't feel like singing it, they heard it so many times, realize that it is your problem, it's not the problem of the chant. It means that we are not doing something correctly. In those words that Devarshi read said, it requires 100% concentration for our part. And it's so easy to just go into the clouds while repeating the word, especially these chants that we repeat over and over the same thing. It's just so easy to go in automatic mode. And also, I recommend very strongly that if you don't do it already, get a harmonium, learn these chants. They are so simple, you have no idea. And in that simplicity is part of the beauty of them. In simplicity, that simplicity is what makes them so powerful as well. But also it makes them very easy to learn. Don't think that you need to have a good voice, that you need to be a professional with your finger with the harmonium. I think nobody in Ananda, or almost very few people used to play instruments or the piano before joining Ananda, but everybody was able to learn. If everybody is able to learn from like 10-year-old people to like 70-year-old people, it means that anybody can learn it. And I strongly recommend that you go to it, because at least in my personal experience, when singing on my own is when I have had the deepest experience, because if I want to repeat a thing over and over, I will do it and go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's a personal recommendation for you. But also to understand that Swamiji, Devarshi read that Master spiritualized all of these chants, that he would sing them over and over until he had a spiritual experience, and he brought power to the chants. And Swami Kriyananda did the same thing. I never heard him saying particularly that he spiritualized the chant the way Master did, but he did say that all his songs, all his music, they are all in tune with the vibration of Om. Every single note, he said, like he would not write it if it was not in tune with that vibration of Om. And anyway, it's not like he was thinking, oh, is this in tune with Om or not? No. He said that he received all his music from the divine. He will ask for a melody and it will come to him instantly. So his music as well as Master's music has a lot of power. And we should not, we should try to attune ourselves to that power, because that has the potential to bring us all the way to God. In fact, Yogananda told one of his disciples that her way was through chanting and through also counseling, not giving big classes, but more one-on-one. But her way to salvation was through chanting, or part of it. That's also a very big statement right there. And I wanted to tell you also of a little story that I had, because it's not just chanting we're talking about, also about Swami Kriyananda's music now. We all know he composed so much music. And I know that now I fell in love with that music. As many of you know, I led the choir here in Pune and some other places, and I love singing this music over and over. I have felt a lot of healing to this music, even physical healing. But the point is that at the beginning, I remember when I heard this for the first time, I thought it was so boring. You know, the same thing over. I thought all the melodies were the same. I didn't know much about music also, but I thought it was always the same, and it was so boring and slow. And now I cannot imagine myself listening to anything else. Very rarely I listen to anything else. And what I like to do, as those who live around me know, I like to play it on my room all day long many times, and also many times all night long. There's this particular song that Swamiji wrote, that he said that one time he was dreaming of a choir of angels singing, and they were singing this song, God is life, God is joy, life is God's, life is joy, life is a mission from on high, life is a quest for inner joy. And it has a couple other words, and the music, the choir is so beautiful, so magical. And that song I leave quite a bit in my room, and I leave it also overnight at low volume. And I remember one time I was sleeping, and I had this dream that I was walking and I was seeing that some friends of mine were doing a play, a skit. And all of a sudden, the main lady who was speaking, she stopped. And all of them closed their eyes and started smiling in bliss. And then I could hear from the distance this song, God is life, God is joy, life is God, life is joy. And I knew that I also could get that feeling that my friends were feeling. So I closed my eyes and concentrated a point between the eyebrows while listening to that music in the dream. And I remember all of a sudden a light appeared, and it was so beautiful. And then of course I woke up and I heard that music was playing in the background in my room. So probably it was that melody that induced that little spiritual experience that I still remember. Just for having it there, just for trying to attune to that music, it has a lot of power. And I recommend that you experiment with it. Not in the sense of changing it, but sing one chant for days at a time. Have it always in your mind. Have some of this music always playing, and you will see that it can bring you great joy and as well as spiritual evolution, so to speak. Anyway, I'll let Devarshi talk now.
I will also say a few words about Swami Kriyanandaji's music. And his music, as Baraquiel was pointing out, was divinely inspired. He wrote once about his music. He said, "What I want to offer you is this, not the technique of a musician, but the intuition of a philosopher and a yogi, because that's where my music comes from. This is how music and all creativity is tied in with the mystical experience. What I'm talking about is much more than just music. It's music as a language of the soul, and that language is universal. It's not just a matter of taste. Recently I gave a talk and a woman said, 'I don't know anything about music. I can't tell melody from harmony, but I know what makes me feel good.' And Swamiji writes, I replied, 'That's all you need.' And his music, as Bara was pointing out, has the power to induce divine and uplifted states of consciousness because it was divinely inspired. He didn't write it from ego, he didn't write it from what he liked or didn't like. Of all the hundreds of pieces of music that he wrote, it's amazing that they are so different and they evoke so many different types of states of consciousness, all uplifted in different ways. He once said, or often said, if you want to get to know me, you can know me through my music. And he didn't mean know me, Swami Kriyanandaji. He was really saying, if you want to know my consciousness, and if you want to know where I am at, the state I am in and where my soul feels and exists, listen to my music. And so also listen, buy some recordings, you can download them or share them, of his music, even just the melodies, even if the words are not meaningful to you, because even if you don't understand English, the melodies themselves have a power to uplift. Swamiji said one time about music, he was telling the story of the great Bhakti poet Brahmachari, who wrote many devotional songs. I'm trying to get the sound here. And his songs of Ram Prasad are still sung in Bengal today, after 200, 300 years of him passing away. And Swamiji pointed out that he speaks to many people, and he gave many, many lectures in his life. And he said once that very often people, not only do they not remember what he said even an hour ago or a week ago in a lecture, but they misunderstand it and even repeat it completely wrongly. But he said music lasts hundreds of years because it has the power of God, it has the power of Om, it has divine power behind it. And so, to the extent that you can really tune in deeply to divine music, you'll find that your consciousness changes. Also be very careful and be very aware of the type of music that you listen to. If you listen to worldly music or pop music or Bollywood music or any type of popular music, watch your state of consciousness after you listen to that music. Experiment with this. After you hear a song that you would like hearing, close your eyes, tune in, and ask yourself, how do I feel now after listening to that piece of music? You'll find that music, more than anything, has the power to change consciousness. More than other arts, more than lectures, and more than really anything, more than books, I think, because it works with the power of Om and vibration. We were created from Om vibration. Eventually we must merge back through that vibration. And so music has the power to work very subtly and change our consciousness. So be very careful with the type of music that you do listen to. Choose very consciously. Now I'm going to read something from Yoganandaji about sound and about chanting, because he brought a different kind of chanting, and everything he brought was different. He was trying to bring everything up from the Kali Yuga age and bring it into a higher consciousness, a higher sphere. And the way that he taught chanting was very different. It was to sing loudly, maybe more quickly, rhythmically, in the beginning, but then to take the chant more and more inside, to sing it softly and then mentally and in a whisper, and then take it interiorized until you're working just with pure feeling that the chant evokes. And the reason why is because sound again has that power. Yoganandaji wrote, "Sound or vibration is the most powerful force in the universe, and music is a divine art to be used not for pleasure, but as a path to God realization. Vibrations resulting from devotional singing lead to the contact of the cosmic vibration or the Word." And he quotes the Bible, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." God is the Word, or the cosmic vibration. Each devotee should set aside a regular time for singing these divine chants. Chant first aloud, then whisperingly, then mentally. A group gathered together in the name of God can take one of these chants, singing it together loudly, then more slowly, then singing in a whisper without any accompaniment, and finally mentally only. In this way, deep God perception can be reached, singly or together. So don't underestimate the power of music to really change your consciousness and take you very deep. Swami Kriyanandaji, I noticed that we listen to a lot of talks and webinars, a lot of lectures and discourses. And again, Swami Kriyanandaji often talked about his music in a way that you could tell he felt really had more of an impact, and that he felt people should tune into more deeply. One time, well, many times I complimented or thanked Swamiji for talks that he gave over the years. You know, I probably listened to him many hundreds of times, giving discourses. And many times afterwards I would thank him, and he would express appreciation. But I'll never forget the one time that he was most appreciative of my gratitude. It was one of his beautiful songs, "Home is a Green Hill," that was sung by the Ananda choir at an event and just before a talk that he gave. And he didn't even sing it, it was the choir singing it. And afterwards I told Swamiji, that song was so deeply moving. It is such an amazing song, and I thank you with the deepest gratitude in my heart for it. He was moved more by that appreciation than anything I ever said to him in my life. And I could see from that music was very dear, was very close to him. Again, because it has the power to connect directly to the divine and use it as a tool in that way. We'll close now with perhaps one more chant as we finish.
We'll conclude with this chant that most of you probably know, "Door of my heart." And Master did say, I can't remember the exact words, that he used this chant to awaken that devotion more and more, but he also said that sing this immediately when you wake up, as to start the day with that deeper feeling of devotion to the Lord and bringing that higher, starting very high right away. So let's remember that, to try to keep that, maybe sing it a few times as soon as you wake up.
Wilt thou come, wilt
Let's conclude with a prayer. Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Friend, Beloved God,
Friend, Beloved God,
Great Masters,
Great Masters,
Beloved Swamiji,
Beloved Swamiji,
we thank you
we thank you
from the depths of our heart
from the depths of our heart
for giving us this divine music,
for giving us this divine music,
that we may awaken our love
that we are making way our love
and direct it all to Thee.
and direct it all to Thee.
We are yours.
We are yours.
Om.
Om.
Thank you all for joining us. Have a good night and try to take this devotion into your sleep or into whatever else you're going to do tonight.